When you have to talk about your work in things like a graduate school application, when you're applying for a fellowship or applying for an award or something, talk about the future of your work. Like, what is this work going to do in the future? Emphasize on the momentum that this work is building. Emphasize on the change that is coming. It doesn't have to be the change that has happened already, but the change that will come because of your work beyond your 9 to 5. You have to look beyond what your role just does in this firm. Yes, I work in this firm. Yes, I contribute to this firm. Maybe the profit making, I bring sales to the firm. What does the firm contribute to the country? What does the country contribute to the continent? What does the continent contribute to the world? It is all connected, and you have to be able to connect the dots. So you have to talk about your work beyond your work. I do grants management here in the US. I don't just talk about grants management like, oh, I do grant management in a city of 200,000 people and I help to manage the grants. I do it in a city of 200,000 people, in a country of over 200 million people, in a continent of like millions of people. And one way or the other, what I do may look like a small piece in the puzzle, but it is a piece, no matter how small it is. You must be able to connect it to how this is impacting the world, one way or the other. And it's very important that you talk like this because it shows that you are participating, not just observing. It shows that you see beyond the work you do every day. It sees beyond the routine that you play in your 9 to 5. It shows that you see your work as impactful and you have to make other people see it too. The mission of the Harvard Graduate School of Education is to prepare education leaders and innovators who will change the world by expanding opportunities and outcomes for learners everywhere. Please tell us how you will contribute to the vibrant HGSC community and help advance the mission. I started with a very powerful line. I'm really proud of it. I started with influencing a nation is arguably the most important reason to create a university in any country. As a member of the inaugural team that laid the foundation of a new university in Nigeria, I've had the privilege of being part of a transformative journey that is redefining the educational narrative of my home country, Nigeria. Beginning as the first full time staff member, I worked in pursuit of the founder's vision to create an institution that would nurture a new generation of business leaders, entrepreneurs, and academics to advance the Nigerian and African economy. Over the past 2.5 years, I have witnessed the gradual transformation of a vision into tangible reality. In sharing my experiences with the Harvard community, I anticipate that my journey in establishing James Open University in Nigeria will provide valuable insight into the challenges and triumph of pioneering a top tier educational institution in Africa. I believe that my future and current work in education would help advance the mission of HGS. You have to tell your story from a place of impact, not from a place of hoping to have impact. Even if your role is small, even if you're still learning, even if the work is ongoing, started mine with influencing a nation, a whole nation of over 200 million people. The university, at the time when I started, when we had our first cohort of students, there were about 50 students. But in 10 years from now, the university can have over 50,000 students. It can have 100,000 students. It can be influencing more and more people. And I would tell my story like that has already happened. I would tell my story like the influence has already happened. And that is what you should do too. The admission committee wants to see evidence of momentum. They want to see that you're already doing the work, that you're already in process. Your startup doesn't have to already have 5,000 students. You can have one person, and that is enough. So instead of writing, I hope to one day contribute, you can say, through my work, I'm already contributing to XXX. Through my work, if this business should scale up, 100,000 people would be employed. If this business should scale up, the educational industry is going to transform this way and this way. And that's what I did when I talked about James Hope University and the future of the university, what the university is going to do, what it's going to achieve, and how me being a part of the founding part of this university has me playing a part in this change already, in this journey of changing the country's educational landscape that is still up and coming, that is still on the rise. I am already a part of it. The 3 years I spent working in this university, the 3 years I spent going to the office 9 to 5, handling the finances, ensuring that staffs are paid. The 3 years I did that for has already contributed in my own way. And I want us to start to have that kind of mindset on the work that we currently do. If you're currently in, for example, a cashier role, when I was a student at Hoxie, I worked as a cashier for one of the dining halls. And in my role as the cashier, I can talk about how being trusted enough to handle payment for food in a facility that feeds future Nobel Prize winners, or that just feeds the average man, that makes sure people eat, that makes sure people are able to live and be alive, like being in that place of influence, even if it doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, I don't cook the food, but then I'm in charge of making sure that people pay for the food and keeping the dining hall running, making sure that the students are fed. You can talk about that in your contents. It might seem like, oh, what am I currently doing? What do I do for society? But I don't care what you're doing. No matter what you're doing, no matter the role that you play in society, no matter your 9 to 5, no matter what pays your bills, it is very important. That job was created for a reason. It was created because there was a need for it. And that need connects back to how it impacts people's life and impacts people's society. Even if you have to sit in a cubicle for 8 hours every day, whatever you do in one way or the other contributes to the economy, contributes to the society, contributes to life. And you want to talk about that in your essays. You want to make sure you talk about how powerful your role is, because everyone thinks like, you have to be a human rights fighter, you have to have created a school in a local community. And those are not bad things. And those are important things. Those are things that we really do need in society. But whatever you still do, it is important. And directly or indirectly, you're impacting lives and you're changing lives. And you want to really talk about that in your essay. You want to talk about that in your prompt. You want to make sure that you tell your story in a way that people will be like, I never saw it this way before. I never understood it this way. Every job is important. Every occupation is important. It was created for a reason. And you deserve to go to top schools. You deserve to go to Ivy League schools, anywhere you want to go to based on your job. You don't have to get a job in an international organization. Anything you are doing is relevant. You just need to tell your story well. And so on. Tell your story. Tell it as well as you can. You go to work every day, you do what you have to do, you leave at 5 o'clock. But even the little things that you do, they are so important. It's how you tell your story. It is so important. You have to tell your story in an impactful way. You have to tell a story in a momentum building way. And you also have to tell your story like the future is here already. I worked in HR in so organization. I helped to recruit. During my time, we were able to recruit 200 staff. We came up with this policy and that policy. During my time, we started an end of the year party. You can talk about how in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, cultures are going to continue. And these cultures have fostered so many relationship building in the firm. They have led to more profit for the firm. They've led to the growth of the firm. The firm itself plays an important part in the economy of the country and contributes to the GDP of your country. And you want to go beyond just the firm and talk about your country. Tell your story like the impact is in motion already. That's what you have to do. And when you're applying for grad school, you don't be humble about the things you've achieved and the things you've done. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you will be able to talk more about your story in a convincing way, in a way that's just beyond how you see it and how the world should see it. If you found it helpful, please like, subscribe, show a friend, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.